Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net. This is an upfront warning about what's about to happen to the surplus funds industry, but I need to make a really quick disclosure. Those of you that purchased our ebook and are doing it on your own using our methods, using a structured buyout and an attorney, or you're partnering with us, this will not impact you. Okay, don't worry about this. There's no impact. However, the vast majority of people out there are still using the outdated methods, the assignment of the surplus, power of attorney to themselves, that type of thing, which works in limited states to a limited degree. But a lot of you guys are doing that, or you're becoming registered finders. You're about to be in a world of hurt. Let me explain what's going on. We're about to get reevaluated, and they're not going to reevaluate property as it stands today, because if they did, they'd be looking at a 35 to 40% increase over the last 2.5, 3 years. Okay. If they did that, there would be riots in the street, okay? Because taxes would go up so substantially that a lot of people couldn't afford it, and there would be hell to pay. So normally when we have a huge uptick like this, they only take into account, out of that 35-40, they're probably going to up the value 15 to 20%. Now, this is going to really dampen their budget. And a lot of you guys are saying, wait, you just said they're going to raise 15 to 20% more in property taxes from property out there. How can they possibly be behind the eight ball? Well, guys, they only reevaluate. Most states have their counties reevaluate about every 4 years, sometimes 8, sometimes even 10, but 4 is about the average or the lower end. North Carolina is an octal state where they're required to reevaluate every 8 years, but they do it every 4. So what you're missing is during that pandemic, when we had this huge uptick in values of real estate, but we still didn't have a reevaluation, we also had inflation going on. So the county's budget has become swollen, the cost. See, inflation doesn't discriminate. Inflation doesn't go, oh, we're going to hit the general public, but not the county, okay? Inflation doesn't care. It's the cost of goods sold. It's everything in there. And we've also had wage increases. So the county has been eating wage increases that they've had to do, even though they have great back-end benefits. They've had to up their wages. They've had all of their costs, and all their vendor costs have gone up. And they've been eating this. They've waited. It's been 4 years or more, probably about 4 years, since they last reevaluated. So they're still getting the property taxes based on the value 4 years ago. So they're about to reevaluate, but they're also going to have to play catch up, right? Because wages and all of their vendor costs and everything has been going up during a time period when they had not reevaluated the property. So we've had this incredible inflation that has outstripped the county's ability to recoup it because they can't reevaluate every year. Do you follow me? So we've got that going on. What's the county going to do? What does government always do if their budget is too high, if they don't have enough money coming in? They find a way to bring more money in. Now, a lot of areas float bonds, but that eventually catches up to you. What most counties are going to do is one of two things. They are going to raise that, by the way, which is going to be fine. Once they raise it, once they reevaluate, that's going to probably cover most of their budget. But again, they're in catch-up mode. So what else are they going to do? Surplus funds is an obvious play where they're going to at least take some money and say, look, we're going to start charging $1,500 for the court just to handle the surplus funds retrieval. Now, what else are they going to do? Well, the government is very, very good at saying, you know what? We're also going to limit the finders a little bit more. That way we can say that this new law has both a finder cap on it if you're in a state that doesn't have that, which is rare. It does not affect us. Finder caps don't affect us because we participate in it. We use attorneys and we use a structured buyout. However, most of you guys are going to be affected by those finder caps. So they're going to lower those caps. You're going to be able to make less money. And the reason they're going to say it is, hey, look, the average surplus has gone from 25 to 45,000. So look, us going from a 25% max for you to 15% doesn't really matter. You're still making more money because the average overage has gone up so high. That's the first thing you're going to hear, okay? The second thing you're going to hear is, hey, and they're going to bundle those two together. We're going to charge $1,500 to handle this. We're going to take that off the overage because our costs have increased and we need to make sure we don't have to increase property taxes. That's your scapegoat. So that we're going to do this. So they're going to say that too, and they're going to probably put that into a package together, so it looks like it's a protection for the consumers out there, when really it's just an excuse to rip people off for the county to take more money on a property that they didn't own. Okay. The other thing you're going to see is this, and we've seen this a lot near me, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. There's going to be this, they're going to throw out bonds and say, look, in order to keep up with school costs and everything else, right? Everything else that's involved, maintaining the roads that aren't state, all that. In order to do that, we're going to float these bonds. What they're really going to start with, though, is we're going to raise property taxes. So people are going to go, whoa, 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 don't raise property tax. Value's been increased. Now you want to raise the percentage? They're going to go, fine, that's okay. We'll raise the bonds. And they will. And that's a trick that a lot of these counties play, is they threaten increasing the rate on property tax in order to get the actual bond floated. So, and meanwhile, their debt is costing more and more money to satisfy their debt. So it's a never-ending cycle for them. But guys, all of this is coming together. It's going to impact you. So understand that if you're going to use power of attorney and you're going to use assignments, the counties are going to start taking that away or limiting it dramatically. The other reason is the states are going to tell, look, I'm the first one to tell you, counties aren't the bad guy here. It's the states, because the states end up with this money. The counties don't care. They're holding it for a short amount of time. Sometimes they're allowed to keep whatever interest they've accrued on holding that money in a local bank account. That's not a big deal to them. It's the states that are the bad guys, and the states are going to make a money grab too, because it's not just the counties that are suffering with inflation as high as it is, and with their budget not keeping up with that because it's staggered and delayed due to the reevaluation period and other items that are going on right now. A lot of states and even the federal level, they're talking about getting rid of gas tax, or at least reducing it for a while. That's going to impact their ability to maintain the infrastructure. All this stuff is going on. I know a bunch of you guys just got all dizzy on me and faded out. Listen carefully. All this is going to impact you. Okay? They're going to want to limit what you can make, because they're going to want to hold on to the money. They're going to want to put you out of business if they can, if you're using traditional methods. So keep that in mind as you're planning, as you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 5 years down the road. Keep that in mind. Your techniques are going to go by the wayside. You need to take a hard look at how you run your business.